Hello, fourth grade readers and writers. Welcome back to ELA School, Away from School, and I'm your virtual teacher, Mrs. Ewing. All right, so we're actually in week 6, daily lesson 25, and you've been doing some amazing work over the last several weeks. So we've been thinking about ratifying the 19th Amendment and women getting the right to vote, and how this led to ending inequality in the United States. All right, so before we dive in, let's go ahead and look at our guiding questions. Our first guiding question says, what can we learn from the process of ratifying the 19th Amendment? How can stories inspire us to take action to contribute to a better world? And how and why can we encourage and support others to contribute to a better world? And remember, these guiding questions are helping us lead the way as we grow ideas around our big topic of ratifying the 19th Amendment and how that inspired others to end inequality. And then over the next several weeks, we're going to think about how can we then go out and make the world a better place. All right, so for today, you're going to need your new article, which is Congresswomen Today Look Up to Shirley Chisholm and Her Goals. You're going to need lesson 25 and your lesson 25 note catcher. All of those materials you're able to find in your ELA packet. You'll need a sharpened pencil. All right, so go ahead and pause this video, grab your materials, and then we'll be ready. All right, pause this video, get your materials. All right, great. Now that we have our materials, let's look at our learning target. I can determine the main idea of a text and find supporting details. So we've been doing a lot of work around main idea, which is the big idea the author wants the reader to take away. And those supporting details help to support that main idea. Remember we thought about it as a table, right? Is a tabletop. And the supporting details help support the table and are directly connected to that main idea. All right, so remember that, because that is our goal today, is to determine the main idea and those supporting details. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to read aloud the article today. When I'm done, though, if you want to reread it with a family member, a caregiver, or a friend, go right ahead. And over the next couple of days, as we work with this article, if you want to hear the article read aloud again, come back to this daily lesson 25. All right, go ahead and grab that article so you have it right in front of you and you're able to follow along with me. All right, great. Now that you have your article, let's start reading. The title says, Congresswomen Today Look Up to Shirley Chisholm and Her Goals. And then we see a picture right here. So let's read the caption under the picture. Actually, there's two pictures, right, of the ladies. Left, a portrait of Senator Kamala Harris, a Democrat from California. Right, Representative Shirley Chisholm, a Democrat from New York, as she announced her candidacy for president in 1972. All right, let's go ahead and start reading this article. Kamala Harris is a U.S. Senator. She represents the state of California in the Senate, one of two parts of Congress. The other is the House of Representatives. On January 21st, Harris announced she is running for president in 2020. Harris has said that she was inspired by a woman named Shirley Chisholm. Chisholm was the first woman to ever run for president of the United States. She was also the first African American to run. More lawmakers are paying their respects to Chisholm. A surprising announcement. In 1972, Richard Nixon was president. People in the United States were angry and divided. Nixon was very unpopular. Many Democratic lawmakers were deciding if they should run against Nixon. Go ahead to the next page, and it finishes the sentence. To be president. In January that year, Chisholm announced she wanted to be president. This surprised many people. Chisholm said she was proud of being Black and of being a woman. However, she said she was running for everyone in America. Harris made her announcement on the anniversary of Chisholm's announcement. I just want to show it can be done. Like Chisholm, Harris said she wants to speak the truth. This means discussing unfair treatment of women and people of color. She says that this would make people trust the government. Anastasia Curwood wrote a book about Shirley Chisholm's life. Chisholm ran to win, but she knew she wouldn't win, Curwood said last year. She said many times, I just want to show it can be done. Shirley Chisholm entered government in the mid-1960s. She had worked as a school teacher in New York, the Washington Post reported. The new Congresswoman from New York. In 1968, she ran for Congress. Chisholm hoped to represent Brooklyn, New York, in its Bedford-Stuyvesant neighborhood. She had lived there for many years. People there were mostly African American and Puerto Rican. Chisholm spoke Spanish. She was liked by both communities. Local Democratic leaders did not support Chisholm. She ran anyway and won. Chisholm was a new Congresswoman in the House of Representatives. She said she would not be pushed around by other lawmakers. She was unafraid of anybody. Robert Gottlieb said. He worked with Chisholm. Chisholm ran history. Chisholm's decision to run for president in 1972 put her up against powerful Democratic leaders. One was the popular Senator George McGovern. Alabama Governor George Wallace also wanted to be president. He promised to keep whites and blacks in separate schools and public areas. Chisholm was not scared. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair, she once said. Chisholm did not become the Democratic candidate. McGovern did, but lost against Nixon. Chisholm returned to Congress. She would serve there until 1983. Chisholm achieved much in Congress. She helped found the Congressional Black Caucus and the Women's Caucus. Much to be remembered for and admired. Chisholm once said she did not want to be remembered as the first Black woman to run for president. She wanted to be remembered more as a Black woman who lived in the 20th century and dared to be herself. Following her career in Washington, Chisholm returned to teaching. She died in 2005 at age 80. She's a major influence for today's newest members of Congress. The group has more women and people of color than ever. Ayanna Pressley is a new Congresswoman from Massachusetts. She is the first African American woman from her state to serve in the House of Representatives. Pressley said that she would be working in Chisholm's old office. Shirley Chisholm has been a hero of mine since I was a girl, Pressley said. All right, great. Now that we've read the article, let's do some thinking. I want you to think, what is this article mostly about? All right, so what is this article about? What does the author want the reader to know about Shirley Chisholm? And then through those two questions, you're probably starting to get a main idea. So the third thing I want you to think about is what supporting details support the author's main idea. All right, pause this video and go ahead and do some thinking. All right, great. So we've read the text, we've done some thinking. Now let's discuss and grow our ideas some more. Before we do that though, I want to remind you, the main idea is the big idea that the author wants you to understand and take away from reading a text. A supporting detail is information from the text that supports, explains, defines, or proves the main idea. All right, so first question I want you to discuss with your family member, a caregiver, or a friend. What is the article mostly about? All right, pause this video and talk about this now. All right, great. I want you to think about this next question. What does the author want the reader to know about Shirley Chisholm? All right, pause this video and talk about it now. Good. So these last two questions, you probably captured this idea that the main idea of this article is that Shirley Chisholm inspired others to dream bigger, other women in politics to go out there and actually pursue their dream too, right? So that Shirley Chisholm inspired others to make the world a better place. You see that? So somewhere you want to capture that thinking. All right, What information does the author provide to support the main idea? Pause this video and think about this and talk about this question. All right, great. Our last question I want you to talk about. What quotes from the text support your thinking about the main idea? All right, so go in that article and look, where are there quotes that support the main idea we've been talking about? Pause this video and do that now. All right, great. I want to show you one quote that I would probably use. At the end of the article, it talks about Ayanna Pressley from Massachusetts, who's the first Black or African-American woman to be in the House of Representatives. And it has a quote from her. And look what Ayanna says. Shirley Chisholm has been a hero of mine since I was a girl. How that supports this main idea that we've been talking about, that Shirley Chisholm influenced others to pursue their dreams or to go out and make the world a better place. All right, good. So we've read, we thought about it, we've talked about it. Now let's write about it. All right, so using your lesson 25 note catcher, record your main idea, then include 3 supporting details from the text and record them on the note catcher too. So let's look at this note catcher. If you notice at the top, or in this first box under the question, this is where you're going to record your main idea. At this bottom box here, you're going to put your 3 supporting details that help support your main idea. Remember, it supports, explains, gives a detail, an idea, right, that supports the main idea. All right, pause this video and complete that note catcher now. All right, great job. Now that we've done that, share your writing with someone. Tell them why you chose to write what you did. Then, after you complete this assignment, remember to read a book with a family member, a caregiver, or a friend for at least 20 minutes. And then we have that fluency practice. So use a timer. Remember, it can be a cell phone timer, a kitchen timer. You can have someone count to 60, right? And read this passage for 1 minute. At the end of that time, count the words, record the amount of words read at the top of your page, right? And we'll see this go up each day as we continue to do this work and we get more fluency with our passage. All right, you did great work today. So proud of you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We're going to work with this article again, but we're going to do a close reading activity with it and dive into a part of the text. All right, see you tomorrow.